Hey all, Lewis Weil, financial planner, investment advisor. If you're here, you probably knew that already. Um, I'm doing something fun. I guess you could call it a marketing campaign, but I'm pretty excited about it. And I wanted to talk a little bit about it, give you some inside baseball about what it is and why I'm doing it. I'm doing a bit of I guess an ad campaign, a little marketing campaign, and the what it is, instead of a slogan, instead of like a proper ad, what it says is, "Who is your favorite Muppet?" I'm I'm amusing myself, definitely. I'm pretty happy with it, and I kind of wanted to share how I arrived at it. I've been in this solo practice for about half a year now, and before I had a very like general, like, work with everyone kind of practice at my old company, and I've been trying to figure out in this new one, what is my identity? Who am I serving? What is it that I'm trying to do at Lewis Weil Company? And the people I've been working with, I realized, I was trying to see like what do they have in common, and they are some of the most interesting people you could ever meet. I work with artists, professors, entrepreneurs, solo practitioners, the full gamut of people who live really interesting lives, kind of weird lives. Maybe they don't realize it that their lives are a little unusual, but just people who I find fascinating, and I've always kind of identified with weird. Ever since I was a kid, I like weird was a badge of honor, and so I was like, how do I find my weirdos? And so I've been trying to think, how to like broadcast that's what I'm looking for, is helping weirdos, because not everyone would identify with it. So I was playing with different slogans, and helping weird people live interesting lives, helping interesting people live weird lives. All really workshopping it, trying to come up with trying to distill it down. And I was, kind of thinking about myself, my own life. On the one hand, kind of boring, middle aged guy with a kid, but also I live a pretty weird life, doing ecology work, involved in the arts, self employed for the last 10 years, former scientist. So I think I fit, and identifying as a weirdo, and growing up, I really liked Gonzo on the Muppets and on Muppet Babies. He was. They never said what he was. Is he a mammal? Is he a bird? What is he? They always said he's a weirdo, and I really identified with him, even going back to when I was a little kid. And I just thought to myself, like, if I knew what everyone's favorite Muppet was, I'd be good. Like, that's what I need to know. I was like, well, why don't I just ask that? Why don't I just say, who's your favorite Muppet? It reveals, a lot. It's playful. If someone is, I have an ad in a newspaper out in West Texas in Marfa, and for months I've been running something that just says Lewis Wild Company, and that's fun. But now it's just going to say, who's your favorite Muppet? Lewis Wild Company Financial Planning. And someone who sees that and stops and wants to follow through, that's someone I want to meet. If I had said, like, looking for weirdos, not everyone might identify with that. It's not perfect, but I'm not trying to get millions of people. I'm trying to get my 100 weirdos. And so the idea of like, well, I'll just ask people who their favorite Muppet is. It'll be, if nothing else, it'll be fun. I didn't A/B test it. I didn't workshop it. I like, from the moment I had the idea to when moments later, I was commissioning the artist I work with to make me new signage. I added it to my intake form, and it's been fun. People's responses are all over the place. Fraggle Rock counts, Sesame Street counts. If it's from Jim Henson Studios, it counts. Yoda was a Jim Henson puppet. It counts. Notice I said who. The Muppets are not what's, they are who's. You talk to them, they have people, probably have souls. So they count. If it's a Jim Henson creation, it counts. And I've gotten really, really interesting answers. It's been a lot of fun. And another kind of like side effect of it is it's a little bit of a filter of people either side of my generation. I'm in my early 40s. I'm 42, and I'm an old millennial, an elder millennial, and I tend to work with people either side of that, into their 50s, into their 30s. I don't know if I have anyone in their 20s right now, but people either side of my age probably grew up with the Muppets. It's been less popular later, and people who in my age bracket, like, I'm going to relate to, my experience is relevant to them. I'm not a 20-something. I'm not in retirement. I am a solidly middle-aged, trying to make the most of my career and take care of my family stage of life. And, I want to work with people who are in a similar state. So it's a little bit of a wink at my fellow millennials and Gen Xers. That's not exclusively who I work with, but it tends to be. And it's just been a lot of fun, and it's really an acknowledgement that I'm just so lucky to get to work with really fun, interesting people who, want something other than, I don't think a big bank would do a campaign based around who your favorite Muppet is. I can't imagine, Chase Bank asking you about your favorite Muppet. Maybe they'll steal that idea. That'd be hilarious. But just an acknowledgement of that I get to work with some really, really interesting people, and I want to meet more. I'd love to work with them, but I always love meeting people, even if it's not the right fit or not the right time for somebody. But yeah, keep an eye out. Let me know who your favorite Muppet is. I talked about Gonzo. He's definitely an S tier Muppet for me, but he's not necessarily my favorite Muppet. If you want to know who my favorite Muppet is, you gotta reach out to me. I would be shocked if anyone guessed. But people have really good answers. I want to hear what yours is too. Get creative. You don't have to think this isn't a test. It's I'm not weeding out people who say one Muppet over another. So give it some thought. Think about who you relate to, who you vibe with. It's kind of like a doing someone's sign. It's revealing who your favorite Muppet is. So let me know who yours is. I'll tell you mine is if you reach out. Lewis Weil, LEWISWEIL.com is where to find me in all the places on the web. Lewis at lewisweil.com. Reach out and we can talk about Muppets and maybe some money stuff too. Thanks, y'all.